So what? I just might turn into smoke, but I feel fine. Elvis said that. One day you wake up and you're responsible for the world, Ephraim says to me in the wintertime across the lake on the phone. I tried to transmit my love for him to him, but I don't know. Over beers brewed in Kansas City, Kumar told me about his thesis in chemistry examining chirality. He puts his hands up to illustrate the concept of non-superimposable mirror images, points through a window we can see through at a spiral staircase, and says something like that. We don't have the credentials to go into the room with the stairs he's pointing at. Is it my fault my iTunes only plays white men when I put all my music on shuffle? The universal emotion of the face crumpling in anguish and or confusion? Do the machines we build reflect our own biases? I was named for my great-great-grandmother, who was renamed by for the role. Lots of non-Cherokee tried to pass for the Dawes role for land. I was working in the lab late one night. Kumar and I went to the art gallery, and it made the sunset we drove into going north on I-35 more urbane. My father told me the history of my name, but I'm not sure I buy it. Chance says when the praises go up, the blessings come down. My dad wanted to name me X. We live in a thieved country run by thieves, and I love buffalo wings. You never liked that song until you heard it in a car commercial. I wore a hat that said KC on the front and Chiefs on the back to Company Brewing today. I am a fan of the Chiefs. Nikki and NoHo and I drank Jameson and talked about the end of the planet, how it's all really boiling, how paralyzed we are, although we remain active. It is heroic to try to stop time. I told Soam and Sawar and Ghassan about how I cried when the Royals lost the World Series and when they won the World Series. I felt so empty when I realized I'd spent all this energy rooting for this thing I have no impact on. People take for Granite, granite. People take for granted what those soldiers go through on an everyday basis. Someone I don't know wrote that on Facebook, and someone I do know sent it to me. Thought I'd find it funny, and I kind of think it's funny, but really I see the sadness in it. The wrong word signifies the hard wrong of the wrong soldiers tend to enact and inhabit. It's getting harder and harder to figure out who the joke's on. It hinges on land. Earlier, I had to use the thesaurus to find the word credentials. I asked Rachel for the word, but she didn't know what I meant, but she knew what I meant. My doctor said to get my heart rate up for 3 hours a week. I thought that was already happening on account of this stumpy life. So what? Elegy for the Oklahoma City Thunder's 2016-2017 season. The night after the Thunder lose to Houston in the first round of the NBA playoffs 4-1. The night Russ goes 5 from 18 from the 3. The night I swear I'm not going to watch them because I know they're just going to blow it, then I watch the whole game anyway. The night overcome by clouds. The night I can't differentiate from dreams and whatever else. The night Rachel's sleepy mouth opens silently. The night I contemplate the critic Molly McGlennon's stance that indigenous poetry is a quilt. The night I wake up 3 a.m. and sit in Rachel's office and read June Jordan's poems and think about noise. The night I yearn for booze. The night I take 1 and then 2 shots of Rachel's good vodka to help put me to sleep. The last night Russ might spend in a Thunder uniform. The night I realize I yell for the Thunder more than I listen for thunder. The night cops report no arrests. The night like someone turned Milwaukee upside down and emptied it. The night jazz makes sense. The night, it's made clear it's like this. Rockets were built to go up. Thunder is made to come down. So what? I am so often disinterested now, especially as they are trying to break us apart. I have become fatigued. They have always been trying to break us apart. I am not disinterested in the breaking apart. There are so many reasons to be afraid of people you know and people you don't, and the sky is pure like the cocaine Cameron is rapping about in my headphones or a Westbrook dunk. The sky is pure like a Westbrook dunk. The sky is pure like all the reasons to be afraid of others. The sky's purity is a matter of interest. So what? Bubbling over with beauty, Milwaukee sits doing its stolen thing. Freddie and I wowed each other over several beers, listened to Joe Tex and a Jean Cocteau play read by Ingmar Bergman, and then Annie came over, and I asked her about her poetry. She has such weird indentions, and it turns out she counts all the spaces in her poems. She put up with me. I had another beer company brewing and ran into Sky and Leslie. They're going up to the Northwest this summer. They're camping. I said I preferred the indoors. I like the internet and TV. I like to watch baseball. Sky sent me the short film he made during the protests at Standing Rock. I haven't watched it yet. I didn't go to Standing Rock. I am a bad Indian. If the only good Indian is a dead Indian, I am a bad Indian. I did 5 shots at Dino's and ran into Freddie and went to Freddie's place as the temperature dropped into the 40s. It was in the 70s the day before, but what are you going to do? So what? East on Riverwalk during the protest, a woman breastfeeds her child. This over and over. The child, the bridge, the mother, the viewer, the breast, the protest. We will never make a baby. Xavier covered the spread, but I didn't bet on him. I said to Kay, Xavier's gonna do this. She just wanted to get high, I think. I keep having dreams. I'm driving on a highway in a car. Matt said I like rental cars when we got into Chicago in the rental car, and I said, this is America. What's not a rental? So what? DC. Rounding the Capitol corner of 14th and Pennsylvania in Garrett's Honda, there was a flash of a building. It felt like Montreal. The sky was pure, like a Westbrook dunk. We weren't in Montreal. We were in D.C. We linked arms facing away from the White House and did the greatest hits of Chance. I did not feel well after. Rachel said it was a good thing. We made people uncomfortable. We made them listen. We made them reconsider. I trust Rachel, but my opinion still hasn't changed. Getting high in Lafayette Square, listening to Ross Gay, read Cornelius Eady's Gratitude, and the specter of the White House behind him, man. I texted Roberto that it was beautiful. He never responded. That's okay. He's not a hater. I'm not either. I've done some haterish things, but who hasn't? I am one train vibing past woods, houses, car dealerships, various stories, so many people afraid of people they've never met. So what? Down the block, when younger, they used to strap firecrackers to cats, I guess to assert dominance, and some of them grew up to be cops and some of them didn't. I can't figure out how to install the Cherokee keyboard on my laptop, so I'm stuck using English characters in my studies. Utana, big, uweje, egg, atatitsi, something to drink. There is a tenderness in the way they punish one another. Roger Ebert writes about a documentary about independent wrestlers in Lincolnton, North Carolina. I believe very strongly in the beauty of professional wrestling, the joy of one man lifting another above his head and holding him there so long time warps and every second matters more than usual. It's refreshing to have good guys and bad guys, and that's it. That's why Rachel watches the crime shows. She says it's nice to pretend sometimes justice is delivered. There was a wrestler, Stone Cold Steve Austin, embroiled in a struggle with his boss, who had a fleet of cronies he called the corporations. So often we got to see a good old boy beat up his boss and then drink like 4 beers at once and then open more beer and pour it on his boss's supine body. And we want to be stone cold, but really we want to be the boss too. So what? The tomato plants in the garden aren't growing. I don't know what we did wrong. Maybe they don't get enough sun. There's a lot of weeds on the east and west sides of the tomato plants. The other plants on the other side of the garden are doing great. Rachel cleaned up her side of the closet, and now my side looks like shit. I am sleeping better now that I drink less. We've only grown 2 tomatoes thus far, and we suspect the neighbors took one because now there's only one on the vine. It rained real nice today. I touched the soil before I came in from work, and my fingers slipped into the earth, which reminded me of sex. I don't have more sex now that I drink less, which is not how it used to work. I have gotten more comfortable with being in my underwear. I have gotten more comfortable with being not afraid of dying. I am afraid of right before I die. I drink more water than I ever have before. I am reducing my carbon footprint. I have decided I'm going to be cremated, and I will give up my organs. I knew a girl in college who died young, and before she died, she raised a bunch of money online, and she's now cryogenically frozen. The New York Times wrote about it. Maybe death is how best to get in touch with my body, with nature. I need to sit in the garden, not drinking. I feel so uncertain generally. I need to get my guitar restrung. I need to dust. Vincent Negaic III and Raymond Gassman, the 2 documented Indians killed by police as of the writing of this poem. Vincent had a shotgun in Alaska. Gassman was unarmed in Rosebud, South Dakota. Both deaths classified as by multiple gunshots. Some squirrel keeps running around our walls. I'm glad it's found a home, but I don't much care for all the commotion, especially when I'm trying to not drink and watch baseball and be in the garden. The neighbors mowed off most of my watermelon. Does watermelon life begin at watermelon conception? The planting, the turning of the compost, the heat stink from when the lid fell off the compost bucket when I was taking it downstairs? It all devolves into argument. I used to be much louder than I am now. Old pictures of me not dead in graffitied basements, beer in hand, teeth exposed. The cats hide when it rains. Every day, death. So hey, every day. It feels good to be sweeping. We bought a new TV and I got drunk and lost its remote the next day. It doesn't have any buttons, so it just sits on the designated TV table, bookended by speakers, waiting, just kind of staring at us. Ileana said into her vodka the I was a big dick going at her face every time she read a poem. Then she won the AWP Donald Hall Poetry Prize. It was a big deal. We live in a thieved country run by thieves, and I love buffalo wings. We have agreed to never call the cops. The check engine light has been on in my car for about a week now. On in? I think so. I need to get back in touch with my body, with nature. I walked in the grass barefoot, but it just made my feet itchy. So what? We left town for 4 days and 5 nights, and when we got back, the apartment stunk. We couldn't figure it out. We tried changing the litter box, flushing the toilets a whole bunch, taking out the trash, taking shots of whiskey, cleaning the fridge, reading books, having sex, inviting Peter over, side-eyeing the cops, feeding the cats, eating, forgetting to eat, sweeping, watching television, charging our cell phones, playing guitar, napping, making the bed, going to poetry readings, breathing, mopping, drinking wine, gardening, doing our taxes, getting into cards, going into different buildings, alphabetizing our books, scratching our arms until they bled, over-tipping the bartender, setting the table, buying more books, setting the heat at 41, using the internet, washing our clothes, hanging pictures, taking out the compost, doing meditative drawings, reading the news, crying over our dead grandparents, telling anyone who'd listened there used to be grass here, fighting, voting, taking the highway, rooting for the Kansas City Royals, dividing the apartment into halves, masturbating, talking about Palestine, vomiting, trying to figure out where to score coke, wearing scarves, protesting police, watching Westbrook hang 54 on the Pacers, paying rent, texting our friends pictures of the cats, yawning. We tried basically everything we could think of. Eventually, we were exhausted, and we collapsed simultaneously on our queen-sized bed with the tender eyes of streetlights over us as faraway sirens wailed, and we felt comfortable knowing those sirens were far away. When we woke up, the smell was either gone or we got used to it. So what? Palpable dread now all over the silvery slink of each day. We're now listening exclusively to songs that feature real drums and hand claps in order to remind ourselves of the rhythm of humanity. It's not really working, so we try sex, which doesn't work any better, but is a lot more fun. I don't know if I can make it past my Caspers, but I try at least a little every day. And, you know, this tarnished land groans with every step anyway. So I look up. There's a bunch of buildings and shit in the way of the sky. Thank you very much.